I enjoy coming to work every day knowing that clients are depending on me to guide them through whatever financial needs they have.
Every client we have is different. And so it's really about finding out what's really the most important thing per client.
With financial planning, everything is interconnected. So a comprehensive plan means that you're taking care of income needs now, income needs in the intermediate term, and income needs long term. We'll do an asset cycle portfolio. We'll do a risk-aligned test. We'll do a life insurance audit or a life insurance review.
And so when we build a deep relationship with our clients, then we can take a step back and then we can look at different options to help them specifically get to their goals. One of the things I feel our job is as advisors is to introduce strategies to clients that maybe they did not know that they were out there. But it's our idea, our job to come out and say, have you ever thought about this?
And the planning it's not always about income, but a lot of it is also about the legacy. So the element of family is very important to us, and it's important to our clients.
Hello, my name is Steve Jablonski, and I'm the host of Financially Speaking with Jeff Bush. Again, we have a great show, and we will be talking about the WellSpring formula, which is a process we started probably 5-6 years ago. Jeff?
Yeah, well, hello, Steve. Welcome to the show. It's great to be here. Financially Speaking, here in our building, high atop the Security Trust building in beautiful downtown Pottstown. Hard to believe we're well into another year of Financially Speaking. We actually celebrated our 10-year anniversary. It's hard to believe we've been doing this show for 10 years. Time flies when you're having fun, Steve. So yeah, we have an exciting show today. We're going to talk about the WellSpring formula, which is something that we started back in 2019, right before COVID hit. We started working with a consulting firm that helped us with our process. So yeah, we're gonna touch on that a little bit today and how that works and how that's been a powerful effect on the people that we work with.
Yep. Before we get into that, why don't you touch on who's in the news and what that looks like?
Yeah, so one thing that we have done over the last couple of years, in addition to putting the WellSpring formula together, is we've gone on somewhat of a PR campaign. So in addition to doing the show here on PCTV, I've done a number of interviews and wrote a couple articles, as have you, and also our associate Shannon. So we were on, and we have a slide up there of all the things that we did, and we have those all out on our website, informedfamily.com. But you can see there. I was interviewed by the USA Today, the U.S. News and World Report. You were, Steve, what did you do? You were on the Market Watch,
yep.
and The Street. Shannon was interviewed in Proactive Advisor magazine. So it's been really a good way to get our message out there of, just the importance of financial planning and the importance of, putting some thought to how your financial future is going to work.
Mm-hmm. So with that said, Jeff, why don't we get into how the WellSpring came about and some of the activities we did and the basis of it.
Yeah, so we started back in 2019. The way we started this is we interviewed a bunch of our clients. We conducted over 50 interviews, and we asked them. We asked them certain questions. We asked them, why they chose to work with us, have a relationship with us, what they say about us to their friends, what are the things that we can do to improve on the relationship. And it was really sort of an introspective look at who we were. And I know for me it was very eye-opening to to get that kind of feedback and hear what our clients were saying about us. And it really formed a basis for what we now call the WellSpring formula. And through this process, Steve, our team, you and I and our team, we identified all the things that we do for a client during the course of our relationship, and we discovered that we do 113 things. That's pretty amazing, right? 113 things during the course of our relationship. So that was quite a process, and you probably remember that.
Oh yes, it was quite eye-opening, and it's a great experience. So when we get into, we basically took pen, pad, paper, and we brainstormed for a week, as Jeff said, over 100 things we do for clients. But we really wanted to get it down to just a few of them that we feel are the most important, but also in this process is that we've been doing things for a long time. And it was, okay, how do we put them together? How do we put them in writing so that our clients really understand what we do in a simple fashion? And that's what the 7 pillars.
Yeah, so from 113 different things that we do during the course of a client relationship, we really boiled those down to the 7 pillars, and that's sort of the cornerstone of our practice. So maybe
talk about that a little bit.
Maybe you want to go through the 7 pillars and really how that works.
Okay, sounds good. The first one is wealth management. In financial companies, we'll manage your money. We are a conservative company. A lot of our clients have, they've sort of won the game before they sat with us, but then it becomes how do they really secure a retirement? So I say we're a little bit different as far as the way we manage people's wealth. Risk management is the next one, and we use a system that mirrors a Nobel Prize in economics for fluctuation. And today people really don't know how much risk they're taking on in their portfolio, and it's a great system to really identify not only the risk they have in their portfolio, but what is the risk in their mind. And then we have tax planning. We're not accountants by any means, but we do want to look at things. Are there things that they can do now? Are there things that they can do in their lifetime? And then there are things that are proactive for their heirs. Legacy planning, that's something where when we sit down with clients, is really specific to what's important to them. And legacy planning is one of those. Some people want to leave property, some people want to gift. It's a very fun topic. And then we look at income planning, and people have done a great job saving money, but how do you turn that into income, in guaranteed income? And we go back to Jeff, when we started in this business, it's been said that 60 to 70% of people had a pension. And today, that number, if you start in a new company, it's less than 10. So it's very critical.
Yeah, the game has changed. It's really turned upside down in terms of, how companies, put their benefit packages together. And as you said, the guaranteed income, the pension has been really kind of going by the wayside. Yeah. It's really not what it was, 30 years. We always say it's not your father's stock market. It's not your father's. It's not your father's income plan either.
It definitely isn't your father's income plan. Philanthropic is the next one, and it's we see people, they give back to the universities. They give to their churches or their spiritual organizations. Again, that is who is sitting in front of us and how important is it to them.
Yeah, I think too, Steve, it's important to mention that some of these pillars are intertwined or interconnected, because even with the philanthropy, that goes hand in hand with tax planning. Especially when you get into things like required minimum distributions and how you can direct required minimum distributions to a charity and have that money not count towards your taxes. And there's there's a lot of interconnectivity here.
And one didn't make it is Social Security planning, but that touches on them all.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. And Social Security, and of course, over the course of the last 10 years, almost since we've been doing this show, we've been doing Social Security workshops. And, you know, we really have found quite a need in the community for Social Security planning. A lot of that has to do with the complexity of the Social Security laws. And, you know, we have to interpret those laws for our, the people, for our audience, really. And, you know, we've done a number of shows here on PCTV talking about Social Security as well. But, you know, that's really kind of the cornerstone of any income plan is Social Security, because it's here, it's guaranteed, you earned it, you paid for it, and it's really the basis of any income plan.
And then the last pillar is value-added services, and there's really a lot to this one. Everything, first of all, what we're doing here today, which we've done for over 10 years, is a lot of educating people in the community. We do retirement design labs, which we'll touch on here a little bit before we close today. We do client appreciations, market updates, and then one is a sounding board. And that's something where our clients, if they want to introduce us to people they care about and love and know, and just to bounce ideas off us to see if we can help them at all.
Yeah, I mean, the sounding board is really, I think, a really key element of the value-added services, because, so often it's difficult to start that conversation, when people are like maybe a little uncertain about introducing us to one of their friends or somebody in their family. But if you just look at it from the standpoint, well, we're here, we're a sounding board, we're here just to offer a second opinion, we'll talk to your children. We've had a lot of conversations with family members, relatives, other relatives, and a lot of times it's a good basis. Even through COVID, Steve,
yes.
It was really one of those things where everything, the world was crazy.
And not to say it was more important during then, but it was.
It was. It really was, because people were viewing their investments differently. They were viewing work differently, and it just really changed the whole dynamic of planning. So that's where, the sounding board really comes in handy. And of course, we're leaning on our experience, Steve, and I've been in the business now for, I'll be celebrating my 30th anniversary in the business later this year, and you've been in, maybe just
I limit it to 25, Jeff. I don't want anybody to think I'm getting old.
Okay. All right. So you've been in the business for 25 years. I've been in I don't care about my age, or, how old people may think I am. So over the course of the 30 years of experience, we've seen and done a lot. So,
Yes.
The sounding board process really becomes critical.
And when we get into the formula, the form part, and where we actually live, Jeff, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so going back to the days of geometry, and you may remember this, Steve. I know you've, all this higher education that you have, the Venn diagram.
Mm-hmm.
So on a Venn diagram, you have these two circles, and where the two circles intersect, that's where we live. That's the WellSpring formula. So what are the two circles? Well, it's what matters in your life. All the things that matter in your life, whether it's, your family, your job, the things you do when you're not working, your money, everything. And then the other circle is what you can control, right? Things that you can control, like your health, for example. You can control your health. You can control, how much you eat, how much you exercise, how much alcohol you take and all that kind of stuff, how much sleep you get. I could go on and on. Your relationships. But there's a lot of things that you can't control, right? So the things that you can't control, That's so when you look at the intersection of those two circles, that's where we live. That's the WellSpring formula.
Yep. Yep. And we have the family, the occupation, the recreation, the how.
Yeah, so the form, so we say the WellSpring formula, and if you look closely there, we capitalize the FORM. So why do we do that? Because it's the form, the why, and that's really the why and the how. So the why is why do you do what you do, right? It's family, it's occupation, and it's recreation, right? And of course, the how is the money.
Simply the money.
So that's how we get form. And believe it or not, the money is really the last thing. The most important thing is the family, the occupation, right? What's important to you? Is it like a work optional lifestyle? Is it, running your business? Is it, your relationship with your family, your wife or your spouse and your children? It's really a matter of priority.
And when we talk about what we can control, one of them is the planning process. And so when we get to the next slide, this is a little bit of how we can actually, control some things for people.
So this is really where the planning starts. This one page, believe it or not, we can put a financial plan together. There's a lot of detail, but the plan itself, we can really demonstrate on one page, and that's the one page that you're looking at on your screen. And we have a name for this process, and it's called Asset Cycle Portfolio, or ACP for short. But what the Asset Cycle Portfolio does is it transforms all of your financial world, your investments, and it transforms it into a plan, an income plan or an income model, and it defines where certain assets are going to go in your plan to design income now, to design income in a little bit of time, maybe 5 years down the road, middle term, and then designing income long term. Okay.
And it's like they wear job description hats.
Yeah. So what happens is inevitably people come into when they come in to see us and they start the planning process, they'll have a bunch of statements, a bunch of stuff, and there's really no semblance of order to this plan when we start. But what we do is we put job descriptions on all these assets, and we give it a very defined, specific role in the plan. And it could be, for example, designated for short-term income. Well, why do we do that? A lot of it has to do with how we manage risk. So if you're going to, and Steve, you're our risk guy, so if you're putting an asset into play that's going to be producing income over the next 5 years, we don't want to be taking a lot of market risk, okay? Then once that asset has been depleted, we move on to the next quadrant where we're getting middle term income. And with middle term income, that might be income that you turn on, let's say in year 6 or year 7 of the plan. Well, there we can take a little more risk, but not much, because we're going to need to turn income on in 6 or 7 years. So there we can maybe take some bond risk or different short-term risk. But it's not till we get into the longer term income, maybe income in year 10 or year 11. We can take and we can start to take some stock risk once we're going out 10 or 11 years, because we know, with reasonable certainty that we're going to get some stock growth, some equity growth. And we have models that we use to back test to prove all this data, but it's really the long term. And then we have the growth quadrant, which is the one that we're showing in the lower right-hand corner there, Steve, and that's really for growth.
Yep.
That's really built for long-term growth. You might never spend that money. It might be
leave on dollars.
leave on dollars. So Steve, what are leave on dollars? What does that mean?
There's live on and leave on.
What does leave on mean?
Leave on means that you will not need to spend them in your lifetime, and then it could be turned into legacy planning.
Yeah, so you're leaving that on. You're leaving it to your legacy. It
Yep.
could be your children. It could be it could be charities. It could it could take on a number of different roles. But a lot of times when we're putting these plans together, we designate assets for that. We may say, okay, this is leave on money. Yeah, this is money that's going to go to the kids. This is money that's going to go to the family. This is money that's going to go to the university.
Yep.
Where I went to school. So it's all part of the overall plan. And this is important. This is extremely important and really the cornerstone of the planning that we do.
And then when we sit down with someone, everybody has what we call a retirement puzzle. And when they come to us, as you said, they got a lot of statements. We tie that in with what matters, and everybody has their own unique puzzle. So what does that look like?
Well, you're going to have, like we said earlier, you may or may not have a pension. You're going to have Social Security. And then from there, you have different types of assets, whether it's your retirement account, your 401k, other savings. And that's where we transform that, that particular puzzle. We transform that to the graph that we showed previously with the asset cycle, and we really turn that into, the income model, the asset cycle portfolio model, because that's the most important thing in what we do is designing a retirement income plan for our clients.
And one of the things we're doing now, Jeff, is that educating people in the area, and they're called retirement design labs. Why don't you get into those a little bit?
Yeah, so the retirement design labs are, this is us taking our show on the road, and the reason why we do that is because it's highly educational. So it's really 3 phases, Steve. There's two nights in the classroom, so we have two nights where you come and, we give everybody a workbook, and then we go through the whole process. We dig much deeper than what we're doing right now on the show today, but we get into all the specifics. We go through some of the regulations that retirees are faced with IRAs and tax rates and taxes and things like that. But the lab is designed to go over 2 nights, and then we have office hours where you come into our office and meet with us, and then we go through a very specific meeting where we talk just about you, right? Because we're not going to talk specifically about you when you're sitting in a classroom with 25 other people, but when you come into our office, then that's your chance to talk just about your own specific situation. So it's really, and we've been doing these now for about a year with a lot of success, because what we have found is that people really enjoy the education process. So again, we're all about processes, and this is another process that we use in this retirement design lab, and it's really a unique way for us to reach people that are either contemplating retirement or they're already retired. So if you want more information on the Retirement Design Lab, we have up on the screen, we have one that's coming up. But we do these, and we go around in different areas where we where we operate our business. And, and that's something we haven't really talked about, Steve, is where we do business. We're this morning we're here in our lovely facility here in Pottstown, but we have 3 other offices. We have an office in Norristown, and I think we have a slide where we have all our offices, so we can put that slide up there. But we have our main, we started this business way back when, over 20 years ago. How long's it been? 22 years. Wow. Talk about stopping to count. It's hard to, I can't even remember how far back we go. We go back so far. So 22 years. We started our operation in Norristown. So we still have that location in Norristown, but then we expanded up here into Pottstown because this is where I call home. Yep. So it made sense to have an office here because we do work with a lot of people here in the Pottstown area, and we love it here. Then 2 years ago, we bought another practice. We bought the Strategic Wealth Advisory practice, and they had 2 offices. There was an office in Reading, and there's an office in Allentown. So we have a pretty big footprint now. When you consider Norristown, Pottstown, Reading, and Allentown, it covers a lot. So keeps you and I busy because we're servicing those 4 offices. But at the same time, it really allows us to get the message out. So we do these retirement design labs in various areas. So if you're interested, please contact our office and we can get you information about an up-and-coming retirement design lab.
And before we finish up today, why don't we just touch on a little bit about the industry, how it's evolved, being suitable, being fiduciaries, being an independent advisor. It's very difficult for clients to understand this.
Yeah. Well, so we talked a little bit about my career, which goes back 30 years. And when I first got into the business, I was a captive agent working for an insurance agency. So when I was working in a captive environment, I really was only able to sell certain things and only put certain products in front of my clients that were very specific to the company that I was working for. So that's captive. And then when we formed the company as now Informed Family Financial, we became independent, and we became affiliated with an independent broker-dealer. And that really opened up the world for us and for our clients, in that we have access to literally hundreds and hundreds of different products and services for the people that we work with, our clients. And along with that, Steve, we operate in a fiduciary capacity, which is extremely important, and it's important to us, and it's important to our clients, and it's really a big thing. And it really what that means is that we're acting in the best interest of our clients. Okay, so it's really another level. So it's not just a suitability question. It's really a question of what's in the best interest of your client. So when we say fiduciary, because that word is really thrown around quite a bit now, and it's thrown around quite a bit in the mainstream media, and that's really what it means. It means you're acting in the best interest of your clients. So with all that being said, what a show this has been today, Steve. Quite an eye-opener. And it was really good to review some of this stuff that we've been really doing for quite some time. And hopefully we got a good message out to our viewers today that are watching this show, because I think it's all this information is really so important. So with all that being said, we're going to sign off. This is Financially Speaking, and we'll see you next time.